Okay, there we go. Hey guys, how you doing today? Good morning. How's your week going? Wanted to check in with you today and talk to you about a little bit of a different subject, different topic. So for all you hustle harders, for all you AI for the average guyers, this is not a quick talk on AI or even hustling harder. This is just a personal message. This is me reaching out to ask for feedback to say, how can I be of more value to you and your organization? How can I be of more value to the marketplace? And to tell you a little bit about my story and to tell you a little bit about my journey and why I work so hard. Because my mindset, my philosophy is it's not a function of the marketplace. It is always a function of how can I be better? My competition is the man in the mirror. And I have a simple goal of just being 1% better every day. And that stacks up, it compounds just a little bit every day. And it makes a big difference at the end of the year. So I'm constantly going out and working on training, education, working on projects that I believe people in the marketplace care about so that I can keep my skills razor sharp, razor focused, and add value for you and your organization in the future. And so, my request here today is what is your feedback? If you've read my newsletter, Hustle Harder with Mark, what's your feedback? If you checked out my free AI Chief of Staff tool for program and product managers, what's your feedback on that? How have you used it? If you checked out my YouTube channel, where we do strategic talks on Wake Up Wednesday or tactical software reviews, where we do tactical and practical day, and I actually share my screen and show you the software and how I would use it. Sometimes having because it's an opportunity to take advantage of what I call or what I net time, NET, no extra time. So I don't have to, take 10, 15, 20 minutes out of my day and sit down and do a video, do a talk because I'm driving to my destination anyway. Sometimes it's not the best because of service. It cuts in and out. But what I was saying was, what's your feedback? If you've seen my resume, my website, samples of my work, my YouTube channel, my newsletter, my free AI coach, the LLM that I help to curate Chat PM, which is a AI chief of staff for program and product managers. It's full of all kinds of case studies and books I've uploaded. I continue to keep training it and refining it throughout the years. What's your feedback on any of those things? Because I'm in the market looking for a full-time role. And while I continue to take select advisory roles through my company, HHPM, and that's a blast. I love working with clients and building that up. That's not my goal. My goal is to be another full-time employee and work for an amazing company like I have had the pleasure to do in the past. And it's been a couple of years now of, in addition to servicing clients, hustling every day, looking for, not just a job, but the right job at the right company for the right opportunity with the right people, because that's key as well. And to be fair, I have walked away and turned down some roles because the people in the roles were not the right fit. So I think personality fit is important as well. It's not the only factor, but it's an important factor. And it's been a couple years, and it feels like it's been a long time. And I got some good news yesterday, and I got some bad news. I got some good news about a role that I'm interviewing for that they'd like me to progress to the next round. And I think that that's great because it's a wonderful company and a wonderful team. And I hope that that works out. But I got some bad news for a different company that I really enjoyed, that I went on 3 rounds of interviews, and I really love the people, and they're going to go in another direction. And when I look back at this process throughout the years and all of these interviews I've been on, because generally speaking, you go on an interview with the recruiter for a phone screener, you meet a couple people from the team, then that goes on to the hiring manager, and then sometimes the hiring manager will let you meet the client, the stakeholder, or their boss. So you're doing at least 3 to 4 interviews for every role, and if you don't get the role, you have to start the process all over again. And it doesn't take weeks to secure another interview. And I hope you guys are making progress quickly. But for me, it takes months. So 4, 5, 6 months could go, and I get an interview or two, and then another 4, 5, 6 months or go, and it's just complete radio silence. Even though I'm actively, assertively out there networking and putting my resume out there, and like I said in the beginning, building skills that I believe are skills of the future that people care about, that I care about, that I find interesting. And so when I look back at my interviews, my process is pretty simple. I prepare for the interview ahead of time by doing a little research on the company. If the person happens to be on LinkedIn or something, I'll look them up on LinkedIn or reach out to them. But generally speaking, I take an old school, hard, tangible notebook, and on the top of the page, I write the name of the company dash the name of the person I'm meeting with dash the date, and then I put 3 dashes below, 3 to 4 dashes. And once the interview is over, I write down the 3 or 4 things that stayed with me immediately. So before I walk away from the computer, before I take on another meeting, before I head to my next engagement, I write down the top 3 or 4 things that stayed with me. Maybe it's something they said. Maybe it's something I felt. Maybe it's something what said. And I do a digital notebook I have, which is very similar to my physical notebook, but I like to write it down first. And I know a lot of you guys are probably saying, why don't you just go straight to the digital notebook? I don't know. That's just kind of how the way I learned it. I've been doing that way for 20 years. I like to write my notes out first. And then, I save it in a file or a folder. And, now with the use of AI, I point my AI to all my handwritten notes that I digitally transferred to the computer. And I ask it to say, hey, it's been a couple years. I've been on all these interviews. What am I doing wrong here? How come I'm not able to secure a good role at a good company with good people? Yes, I've turned down some opportunities. Yes, I've walked away from some opportunities, but they weren't the right ones. What's going on here? How can I be better? And I find the AI feedback to be very useful. It gives me all kinds of neat little interesting facts and tidbits, and it's always recommending things I can do to be better. So that's why I'm constantly taking training classes, and sometimes even offering my service for free if a client's working on an amazing project and that's something that I would like to put on my resume, a notch on my belt. Sometimes I'll work with them pro bono. I'll work with them for free just to get that experience. But because it's been going on for so many years now, it's starting to just take a financial toll. And I'd really love to, be a full-time employee again. I'm a hard worker. I've always been a hard worker, and I'm a workhorse. I just want to work. I don't know how other to say it than just simply say it like that. And it just doesn't seem to be happening. And I know that, I heard in the news today that, there was another massive layoff from another big company. And I know the competition is fierce. And as people continue to get laid off from company A, they're going to go work for company B. And I get that. But, and I say this humbly, I believe that I am very competitive and I believe that I do have good skills. And so I can't reconcile in my mind. I don't understand what's happening as to why I keep getting these rejections in, because when I look at the roles, I'm not only perfectly qualified and have actually done these roles in the past, but I was successful in them and I have built skills to help these companies and organizations I'm working with not only continue to do what they're doing now, but build for the future by way of AI, automation, cloud, RAG, and all the stuff we talk about, because I find it personally interesting. Not only is it for my profession, but I find this stuff personally very interesting. I'm passionate about it. And so, yeah, what is your guys' feedback for me? How can I be better? How can I communicate more effectively? How can I communicate more concisely? Um, Based on the skills I have, what additional skills can I get? What do I need to refine? How do I need to be better? Because, and once again, I say this with much humility, it feels insanity to me. It feels not logical. I look at these roles, I go on these interviews, and I say, I'm a perfect fit because I've done this before. I know exactly what you need. I can deliver that for you. And it just doesn't work out. And I know that, and I do all that stuff, but I don't understand what's going on and why this is taking so long. So I'm out here asking for feedback. And whatever, we can hop on a call, whatever works best for you. You can keep it anonymous. Um, I have a survey that I've had out there for a couple of years, survey tool. You can fill out the survey. It's completely anonymous, whatever you prefer. But I'd really love to get your feedback on just why it's just not working, and what I can do to be better. I feel that I have some great experience, some great projects under my belt, some great education, um, and I just want to work. I know that that's overly simplistic, but that's just the truth. I'm a workhorse. I've always been that way. I got my first job when my dad passed away when I was a kid at 9 years old, waking up at 4:30 in the morning, delivering papers to people, understanding how clients wanted the papers, who wanted it wrapped in plastic, who wanted it sent in their mailbox. And, I've been waking up those early hours in the morning ever since, 30 years later, thinking about, you know, who's the end client, what do they actually want, and how can I deliver for them with a very roll up your sleeves, get stuff done kind of attitude. And a little bit of good old fashioned New York hustle. And while I think that that's a great thing, I don't know what's not working. And so, yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Reaching out to you guys today, not so much to talk about AI for the average guy and all the latest AI tools and tips and tricks and features and functions. I know we always talk about that. But today is really about uh, how can I be better? Take a look at my website, take a look at my newsletter, take a look at my resume, my LinkedIn, my free AI chief of staff tool. It's an LLM, functions very similar to like a chat GPT. And, let me know what you think. Let me know how I can be better, how I can be of service to you and your organization. because I am aggressively, at this point, I'll use that word aggressively, looking for full-time roles, and it just doesn't seem to be working out for me. Um, and Yeah, let me know what you think. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to look at this. I'll create a quick short. I know that folks don't want to look at a 10-minute video. Everybody's busy. So what I try to do is I try to take the videos and then, create a 90-second, a 2-minute short that kind of gives you the gist of this. But I'm looking for feedback on how I can be better because I'm looking for full-time roles. And if you have any advice, if you know anyone that I could speak to, if there's any opportunities that are adjacent to you, what I like to say is you may not be hiring yourself, but you probably know someone who knows someone that is. So please put me in touch with them or put in a good word for me. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for the time. Let's talk again soon. Bye-bye.